Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of 6 Characters in Search of an Author, a play by Luigi Pirandello. Luigi Pirandello is an Italian dramatist and he published this play in 1921 in a collection of plays called Naked Masks. He used the play within a play structure here. 6 characters asks the audience to consider questions of authorship, identity, truth, and performance. In 1925, Pirandello released a third edition of 6 characters that included a new preface in which Pirandello reveals that he is the reference author who originally abandoned the characters, and he discusses the play's characters, plot, and themes. An acting company is rehearsing a Pirandello play one afternoon when 6 characters enter and ask for an author to write about them. The characters are a family: the father, the mother, their 22-year-old son, and 3 stepchildren born when the mother cohabited with another man. The stepchildren include the 18-year-old stepdaughter, the 14-year-old boy, and a 4-year-old girl called the child. The father, who is the primary spokesperson for the group, explains that they were abandoned by their author. The characters want their story completed. The manager initially assumes that they have escaped from an asylum. However, his artistic sensibility is piqued by the incomplete story that they tell him, and he agrees that it should be realized theoretically. The story emerges in Act 1 with a lot of arguing between the father and the stepdaughter about important details. The mother and the father were separated years ago. The mother then was in a relationship with the father's assistant, a younger man called the secretary. They had 3 children together: the stepdaughter, the boy, and the child. At some point, the secretary moved the family away and he died 2 months before the present. Upon the death of the secretary, the mother became impoverished, so she and her children moved back to the city. The mother began working as a dressmaker for Madame Pace, who runs a brothel. Madame Pace also gave work to the stepdaughter as a sex worker in the brothel. The father recently visited the brothel as a customer. Unwittingly, he says he had sex with his stepdaughter. The stepdaughter protests that the father knew what he was doing and that he even leered at her long ago when she was a little girl. They disagree about the facts and they argue about morality, shame, and guilt. The characters quibble with the manager over recreating these events on the stage, each taking a different view of truth, reality, and theatre. In Act 2, the manager has his troupe begin acting out the character's story, overriding their pleas to let them do it. He wants to begin with a scene in the brothel. They commence, but the anguished mother keeps interrupting to protest the depiction, and the stepdaughter interrupts when she thinks the actors are doing a terrible job and misrepresenting her. The manager agrees to let the father and stepdaughter each play themselves. The cobbling continues even as the scene is played out. Finally, the mother enters the brothel and sees the father and stepdaughter in an embrace. Delighted with this dramatic turn of events, the manager calls for the curtain to drop. As Act 3 commences, a new set is revealed. There is a backdrop of a garden, a few trees, and a fountain basin. The manager has decided that they will act out the scene at the father's house after the brothel scene. The characters and the manager argue about reality, personal identity, and stage illusion. The stepdaughter tells the manager that the entire action of the drama cannot take place in the garden. The manager protests that they cannot change scenes 3 or 4 times in one act. When the leading lady, one of the troupe members, remarks that it makes the illusion easier to maintain, the father has qualms with the word illusion. He argues that the characters' lives are no less illusory than the actors' lives. The distant, contemptuous son attempts to leave, saying he refuses to act in the drama, and the stepdaughter tells him that he is unable to leave no matter what he wants. She draws attention to the mother, who continues sincerely imploring the son to stay as an example of a character willing to play their part. Troop members begin to study the movements of the mother and the son, rousing the son's anger. At this point, the manager agrees to ask the actors to stop. He wants the son and the mother to do their scene, but the son insists that no such scene exists. He then explains what happened in the garden as he saw it. The mother begins sobbing as the son continues his story. The son says that he entered the garden and found the 4-year-old child, that is his stepsister, drowned in the fountain. The boy is behind a tree, he says, with a revolver in his pocket. As the story builds, the characters begin to act out the son's description. The son runs to the child in the fountain and the mother follows him. The boy runs over too and he stares at the drowned child before shooting himself with a revolver. The mother cries out. The manager and the actors are confused by this scene, uncertain whether it is real or performed. Finally, the manager dismisses the question, instead bemoaning the loss of a whole day of rehearsal. And here ends the play. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends. And if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.